Divante presents e-commerce talks, where industry experts share their insights about the ever-changing world of e-commerce. Today we'll be talking with Chief Technology Officer at Lampenwelt, Marcus Lorenz. Well, thank you for joining us one more time, and this time I have the pleasure of having Marcus Lorenz here, and he is the Chief Tech in Lampenwelt, if I want to call it Chief Tech or CTO or IT Director.
Director IT, it's
Director
the common
IT.
name. Yeah.
Wonderful. I mean, we really wanted to have you here because we, in the previous episode, we had Johan Wilms telling us about the success story of Lampenwelt and how it became from an eBay store all the way up to what it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But before we get into that, if you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and how you end up working with such an amazing company.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me. My name is Marcus. I'm joining Lampenwelt in 2014, and I started to take over the IT department and just grow up the IT department from a very small department now to a bigger one. And our strategic goal is to do a lot of insourcing on key competences that we see in the e-commerce. So we want to bring in the e-commerce knowledge of front-end development, data warehousing, and all the stuff who's focusing on e-commerce and the e-commerce platform. And it is a pleasure for me to build up this team in a dynamic e-commerce story with Lampenwelt, and also a fast-growing company in the e-commerce, which is very cool, with very cool CEO and CFO guys. And it's a pleasure to working with them.
Cool. So, so at the moment you're growing the team, right? How many people you had in the team when you joined, and how many people you're planning to have?
Yeah. Okay. So when I joined Lampenwelt, we started with 3 people, which is not very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now we are approximately 30 people, and our plan is to grow up the team just to get more competences in-house. Especially for front-end tasks, back-end tasks, and what's very close to the commerce front-end view or the customer view.
Cool. And if we look at the story of Lampenwelt, and if people miss our previous episode, we know that it was in '99 that it started, which is an eBay shop, right?
Yeah, exactly. Thomas, our CEO and founder, founded Lampenwelt in the garage. So he started it on eBay, and after that, he was starting to focusing on his first domain, which was Lampenwelt.de, and he was selling in the first step all the products on eBay, and in the second step, he founded Lampenwelt and put the first SKUs on the website and sold the article and learned how e-commerce is working. Yeah.
So one of the things that happened with a lot of companies is probably what happened also with Lampenwelt. Is like you guys took huge growth, but then around 2016, when you actually were there already, you have to figure out ways to keep growing. I mean, because everything has a top, right? I mean, no solution is it goes up forever. Yeah. So for you, what was the process? How you try to figure out to evolve the platform or to improve the platform?
Good question. Basically, we did a kind of settlement. So as we saw how the company was growing, we headed up in the right direction, I think so, just to settle and stabilize all platforms on the e-commerce side, on the back-end side, and do some strategic decisions what we are going to do next. And we was focusing on the Magento project, just to settle all the stuff we had done in the past, and now we are preparing for the next moves, just to go up over 100 million of revenues and just to go in some new markets.
Because I was looking at your numbers before, and they're very, very impressive. I mean, it's pun intended, but it's brilliant. And looking at the way you guys been growing and the way you guys are doing things, looking at the whole ecosystem of e-commerce, how do you see the smaller companies competing with this fast or massive growth that you guys have? How do you see companies adapting into the challenges of getting at the level of Lampenwelt?
Well, basically, my point of view is that every company learns from each other, and you see something going on the market, and so you're adapting from the bigger e-commerce players, maybe the smaller ones adapt them also, or Lampenwelt stuff. And I think, or in my perspective, the key challenge is to decouple all systems strictly down and focusing on what they're doing. Just build no monolithic structure like we did it in the past. Focusing on service architecture so that you're much more flexible in the front end, or just add new services in the back end to keep up scaling, and also to have the chance to replace one system by another without breaking the whole ecosystem.
That's good. I mean, there's something we'll be talking on the show, which is moving from monolithic to microservices. And regarding to that, I mean, not just that specific change, but the evolution of e-commerce. I mean,
Okay.
we think of things like monolithic to microservices. But what else? How do you see the future of e-commerce in specific? Like, what will have to happen next? So for the next growth stage, or for the next growth wave, if you want to call it.
Okay. So just to get it 100% clear, you mean it on a technical
on a complete tech side? Like what will be the next things that we should have in our hands to keep growing and keep advancing?
Okay, I think the main thing is that you or that we as an e-commerce pure player have to focus on front-end capabilities and just put a little bit aside the back-end stuff, because in the front end we do our revenue with our customers, and if we want to grow up with our customers, we have to have a back-end which is just playing in the background, who do the standard and commodity stuff. And for me as a director IT, it is important to focus our employees on the right things, which is the front end. So all the parts we've done in the past, like back-end hosting, also front-end hosting, is not a task I want to have in the future. So our teams should do just focusing on writing code and deploying to somewhere, and focus other teams or other players on the market just to host this code and to run this code on a platform.
And I mean, when you were talking about growing the team, I mean, we've seen that it's a worldwide issue to find the right talent, to find people who knows what it takes to get to the next stage.
Yeah.
How are you guys facing that? Like, how is the process for you guys to find the right people?
To be honest, the process was really hard. So my opinion, you can't do any compromises on a strategic position. So if you have a team lead who's not working, also in the current situation of the employee market, you have to do the right decision. So no compromises on strategic levels, or no compromises on team lead level. That's my personal view on that, which is basically very hard in the actual situation. But we learned that if we do the right decision on the personal side, they keep up, or they are, how should I explain it?
They commit.
They're first of all, they are committed to the company, and the second thing is there's a strong traction of the team, which is following the team lead, and you push up the whole team to the next level if the team lead is working fine. So it hasn't to be the technical expert of everyone, but he has to have a strong vision of the direction of the company, a powerful mindset when it comes to people, and on the other side, when you have strong team leads, you can backfill those strong team leads also with juniors, which we are recruiting on high school, and therefore we have some talks at high school.
Okay, so you could sort of invest in the future.
So a part of our job is to go to the high school or do some technical presentations on exposes or ferries or something else, just to talk about technology and also to promote Lampenwelt.
Now, from the microservices aspect, what sort of tools are you guys using, like, constantly? I mean, I know that a Vue storefront is one of the most favorite tools to use nowadays. But Like, what are the, I mean, considering that one, and what else do you recommend to use, or what else you guys are using in order to scale rapidly?
I don't know if it's this decision on the right tool, but I would say that it's more the decision on the right way. So if you are going to decoupling your infrastructure, it doesn't matter if you're using Kafka or Nuts or something else to decouple the infrastructure and go into a microservice architecture. It's more than you should do, focusing on the way to do it, and just using microservices or microservice-oriented architecture to following this part. So if you do it later on with tool A or tool B, I don't know if it defines the how should I explain
the results.
The results,
yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Something that we ask most of our guests, and if people watching right now would like to learn or know how to get to this next step, is anything that you're reading right now, or is anything that any podcast that you're listening that you would like to recommend?
Yeah, we had some awesome podcasts in Germany, which I personally am following. One podcast I can recommend it's called Kassenzone in Germany. There's another one which is called Digital Compact, which is a little bit broader on this page, on this point of view. And also I read a lot, but it's not very focused on technical terms. It's more, in my position, on how to scale up teams. And a quite good book I was reading was 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Okay, right.
I enjoyed it much to just read in it, understand it, and work on habits to get the people and the team more effective.
Awesome. One last question.
Yeah, for sure.
When you think of the future of we know that e-commerce is taking over and it's making companies go from 0 to 100 like that. What do you think what's gonna happen with the brick and mortar stores? Are companies still should be investing in having a real physical store, or these stores are going to disappear sooner than later?
Don't know really. I think it's depending on the business model. On maybe furniture, there's also a cool thing to go into a physical store and just to try out all the furniture. There are other things, maybe glasses or something else, which you don't need to touch in a physical way. So it depends really on the business model, and there is no this would be work in the future and this won't work. But all things that you can imagine from your mind, and which is more than a commodity product, clothing and so on, I think it's really hard to get there with a brick and mortar store at this time, and there you have to do a kind of key differentiation, that you are consulting your customers or something else to differentiate from the e-commerce ecosystem.
Excellent. Well, Marcus, I know you're pretty busy nowadays, and so we're gonna let you go. But first, we want to thank you for being with us, and we want to thank everyone for watching. Marcus, anytime, you're more than welcome to join us again.
Perfect. Thanks for having me. Okay, cool. Thanks.